It was supposed to be just another Monday morning. Sarah Chen was running late for her big presentation at the marketing firm on the 42nd floor. She squeezed into the elevator at the last second, her arms full of presentation boards and her laptop bag sliding off her shoulder. The doors were closing when a hand shot through, forcing them back open. That's when Marcus Webb stumbled in, drenched from the rain, his phone pressed to his ear, clearly in the middle of an argument. He didn't even look at Sarah as he jabbed the button for the 38th floor and continued his heated conversation about missed deadlines and disappointed clients. Sarah rolled her eyes. Great, she thought, trapped with Mr. Angry Business Guy for 42 floors. The elevator climbed smoothly. 5th floor, 10th floor, 15th floor. Then at the 19th floor, there was a grinding sound, a violent shudder, and everything stopped. The lights flickered once, twice, then settled into an eerie emergency glow. Marcus finally ended his call. They both stared at the floor indicator frozen on 19. Sarah pressed the emergency button. Nothing. She pressed it again, harder this time. Still nothing. That's when Marcus noticed the sign on the panel that they'd both missed in their rush. Due to maintenance work, emergency systems temporarily offline. Service restored by end of day. End of day. It was 7:30 in the morning. The first hour was awkward silence. Sarah tried her phone. No signal. Marcus tried his. Same result. The elevator shaft was a dead zone. They were in a metal box suspended between floors with no way to communicate with the outside world. By hour 2, they'd moved past awkward and into uncomfortable. Sarah's presentation was starting without her. Marcus had a meeting with his biggest client that he was now missing. They sat on opposite sides of the elevator, backs against the walls, avoiding eye contact. It was Sarah who broke first. "I'm Sarah," she said quietly. Marcus looked up and for the first time really saw her. Not just another person in an elevator, but a real human being who was just as stuck and scared as he was. "Marcus," he replied. "I'm sorry about earlier. The phone call. That was unprofessional." "Bad morning?" Sarah asked. Marcus laughed, a bitter sound. "Bad year, actually. I'm a freelance architect, and I just lost my 3rd major project in 6 months. That call was my last client telling me they're going in a different direction." He paused. "Today was supposed to be my last chance to save my business. I had a meeting to pitch a hospital redesign that could have turned everything around." Sarah felt her irritation melt away. "I'm sorry," she said, and meant it. "Today was supposed to be my big break, too. I've been at my firm for 5 years, constantly overlooked for promotions. This presentation was my shot to finally prove myself to the partners." They shared a look of mutual understanding. Two strangers, both watching their dreams slip away while trapped in a metal box. Hour 3 brought thirst. Hour 4 brought hunger. Marcus found a half-eaten protein bar in his bag and broke it in half without asking, handing a piece to Sarah. It was the first of many things they would share that day. By hour 5, they were talking. Really talking. Not small talk or pleasantries, but real conversation. Sarah told Marcus about her parents, immigrants who'd worked 3 jobs to put her through college, and how she felt the constant pressure to succeed for them, not just herself. Marcus shared how he'd left a stable job at a prestigious firm to start his own practice, and how his family thought he was throwing his life away. Hour 7, and they were laughing. Marcus did an impression of his mother's disappointed face that had Sarah gasping for air. She countered with a story about accidentally sending a love letter meant for her college crush to her professor instead, and Marcus laughed so hard his eyes watered. Hour 10, and the conversation turned deeper. Sarah talked about her ex-boyfriend who'd left her for someone more successful, someone who fit better into his ambitious life plan. Marcus shared how his fiancée had called off their wedding 6 months ago because he wouldn't give up his dream of running his own firm. She said, "I was choosing my pride over our future," Marcus said softly. "Maybe she was right." "Or maybe," Sarah said carefully, "she just couldn't see that your dream was part of who you are. And if she couldn't support that, she wasn't the right person." Marcus looked at her, really looked at her, and something shifted in the air between them. Hour 13 brought darkness. The emergency lights finally gave out, plunging them into complete blackness. Sarah's breath hitched, and before she could stop herself, She admitted she was afraid of the dark. Without hesitation, Marcus moved across the elevator, found her hand, and held it. They stayed like that, connected in the darkness, talking about everything and nothing. He told her about his grandmother who'd raised him, who'd believed in him when no one else did. She told him about her sister who died when Sarah was 12, and how she still talked to her sometimes. In the dark, with no distractions, their words took on new weight. Hour 15, and they'd moved closer. Not intentionally, but naturally, like magnets drawn together. They were sitting side by side now, shoulders touching, still holding hands, though neither acknowledged it. Hour 17 brought exhaustion, but neither wanted to sleep. "I don't want to miss this," Sarah whispered, though she couldn't have explained what this was. Marcus understood anyway. Me neither. They talked about their dreams, the real ones they rarely admitted to anyone. Sarah wanted to write a novel, but was terrified of failure. Marcus wanted to design affordable housing for underprivileged communities, but worried it wouldn't be profitable enough to sustain a business. In that elevator, suspended between floors and reality, those dreams felt possible again. Hour 19, and Marcus asked, "Do you believe in timing?" Sarah considered it. Like, everything happens for a reason. More like, what if we meet the right people at the wrong time? Or what if what seems like the wrong time is actually perfect? Sarah's heart was racing, and it wasn't from the confinement anymore. "I think," she said slowly, "that maybe there's no such thing as wrong timing. Maybe every moment is exactly when it's supposed to be." Hour 21, and they were quiet again, but it was different now. Comfortable. Complete. Marcus's thumb traced circles on the back of Sarah's hand, and she leaned her head on his shoulder. Two strangers 12 hours ago, now fitting together like they'd known each other for years. Hour 23 brought the sound they'd been waiting for. Voices above them. Mechanical sounds. Rescue was coming. But instead of relief, they felt something like panic. This bubble they'd created, this impossible connection, was about to pop. "Sarah," Marcus said urgently, "I know this is crazy. I know we just met, technically yesterday now, but I need you to know that this, whatever this is, it's real for me." Sarah turned to face him in the dim glow of his phone's dying battery. "It's real for me too. I don't want this to end at rescue," he said. "I don't want to walk out of here and go back to the real world and lose this, lose you." "Then we don't," Sarah said simply. "We don't lose this." Hour 24. The elevator lurched, moved, and then the doors opened. Sunlight flooded in, along with paramedics, building security, and concerned crowds. Sarah and Marcus stumbled out, blinking in the brightness, still holding hands. The paramedics checked them over. They were dehydrated, exhausted, but fine. Sarah's boss was there, apologetic and relieved. Marcus's client had rescheduled, worried when he hadn't shown up. The things that had seemed so catastrophic 24 hours ago suddenly seemed manageable, even trivial. Before they were pulled in different directions, Marcus caught Sarah's hand one more time. "Dinner tonight?" he asked. Sarah smiled, really smiled. "Dinner tonight." 6 months later, Marcus would design Sarah's tiny house, the one where she'd write her novel. A year after that, Sarah would be his date to the groundbreaking ceremony for his first affordable housing project. And 2 years later, Marcus would propose in an elevator, because as he told her, sometimes getting stuck is actually the moment you find exactly where you're meant to be. They never called it fate. They called it timing. Perfect timing. In the most imperfect circumstances. Because sometimes it takes being trapped with nowhere to go to finally find exactly where you belong.